All right, yo, what up, everybody? Welcome to Arch Rivals. What are we wrapping up week number 2 of the NFL season? You already know Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, the homie Blaze. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. I know that Saturday night, everybody was up to 2:30 a.m. Sunday morning. We'll discuss that, get into that. I want to talk about some quarterbacks. We obviously got to talk about the rivals, talk about how they fared this weekend, bring the New York Giants into the mix as well. Blaze, what's good with you, my good brother?
Oh man, not a lot, man. Just a crazy sports weekend as usual. We was already expected. Yep. I think we said a couple of weeks ago we are in sports heaven. A lot of ebbs and flows. If you're a bettor, a lot of emotional ups and downs throughout these games, man. I tell you what though, some good sleep though, because just you feel like a little kid again. Man, you just wear yourself out. Your brain just all over the place. Because man, how these games go. Not just the Colorado games, the NFL games. It's the game last night with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So, like I said, I feel good. Let's get it.
So, I want to do a little. This is Tuesday morning. We're recording this, coming off of Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Thoughts and prayers to Nick Chubb. You know what I'm saying? Nick Chubb's a phenomenal running back. He could have had an all-time career, but I believe he's torn his knee up like 3 times now. So, but Blaze, when the team's best player get hurt, the quarterback is supposed to step up. And Deshaun Watson, we got to have a serious, you know how we have a serious conversation every week about Josh Allen? People say I don't like black quarterbacks because I point out Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson. I don't give nobody more trouble than I give to Josh Allen.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't, man, you can't worry about what people say with that, man. I can't worry about that, man.
And Dak Prescott says that he's mixed race. So whatever. I give Prescott a hard time, but, obviously I expect Prescott to do better because of the roster he's been given.
I wouldn't even let that bother me, man. Talk on, my brother. I don't even let that bother me, man.
But Blaze, Deshaun Watson, we got to tell the truth, son. He's not the same player no more. He's not. Blaze, 8 games, 9 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions.
I know. I mean, it was like Shannon Sharp said this morning. At some point, we're gonna have to stop talking about his rust.
Yeah.
Like as my last name. But I mean, I think I texted you last night. I told you I'll give him to the end of the year. But you know what, man? He looked horrible in the fourth quarter, man. He just doesn't look the same. And what's funny is when he was in Houston, he had less talent than he has now.
Exactly.
He got weapons now. And it's just, and I know the receivers are frustrated. You can see it on their faces. You can see their body language, throwing the ball out of bounds. Like he's overthrowing receivers.
That last drive, that pass he threw out of bounds, I was like,
what was that, bro?
God.
I mean, it was pass interference. It was pass interference.
The ball was in the stands.
Well, holding or something, you can't have your hands on the receiver the whole time down the field. But I get it, though. I mean, I get it. I mean, the referees don't want Deshaun Watson to succeed. I get it. So, I mean, that's what it. And listen, I'm going to tell you another thing, too, about last night, that game. He is the reason why they lost that game. He threw a pick 6. He lost a fumble, scoop and score by Pittsburgh. And not only that, 2 costly face mask penalties at bad by the quarterback. He's being called for face mask.
Blaze, I said, me and you, like, you watch the game the same way I do. And I'm thinking to myself, have I ever watched a game where the quarterback got 2 personal fouls?
2. That was crazy. And look, he got both of them during critical times.
At the first one, I'm in the kitchen, right? So I hear personal foul number 4. I'm like, number 4? Like, what?
I mean, he had his face mask like this and pulled him and threw him out of bounds. Costly penalty. They were moving the ball. The second face mask penalty by him, they were moving the ball. Momentum killer. Man, put that game on him last night. He lost that game for the Browns. I'm probably still going to give him most of the year, but now, the name that I'm about to give you is, obviously he's the exception and not the rule. But Michael Vick had 2 years off, and he came back like a monster.
Balling, son.
A monster.
Calvin Ridley look rusty?
Yeah.
You think so?
A little bit. I mean, that first game, Calvin really had a good game. But, man, listen, not to get off topic, but give Kansas City's defense credit. In 2 games now, With and without Chris Jones. I'm just saying, with and without Chris Jones. Granted, they lost to Detroit, but they only gave up 21 points, and they still had a chance to win that game.
And they should have, they should have won that 21 points. One of that was a pick six. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly.
And a turnover, I believe, caused the other points as well. So no, I'm with you on that one. But yeah, with Watson, yeah, okay. So and then one of my homegirls texted me last night. You know what I'm saying? She's talking about the game. She's from Houston, whatever. So I'm like, yo, your boy sucks now. At the first, she's like, well, you got to give him time. He's had 2 training camps and 8 games, and he was playing. He was having a Hall of Fame career. What are you talking about?
He was. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, why and how. Like, is the passion not there? Like, what is it? So, it can't be his skills, because when he was suspended at an early age. I think Mike Vick was probably maybe 6-7 years in when he got suspended.
When he got suspended,
yeah, he was older. So Deshaun Watson was young. So we can't use his age as an excuse. I don't know what it is. He just, man, boy, he looked bad. Like a couple of times he made some good throws, but then most of the time he looked kind of bad last night. You're right, man. Some of those passes were like, what are you doing?
I don't think he trusts what he sees. He doesn't trust the offense. But I'm like,
that's what I said to myself.
Like the Bill O'Brien, that Josh McDaniels Bill O'Brien offense, that's one of the hardest offenses to learn. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that can't really be the problem. So, and I think I mentioned this to you before. I was watching Gilbert Arenas show, and he talked about after the gun incident how all he wanted to do was go to the arena, not be seen. He wasn't playing good. After the game, he would go home, draw all the windows shut. He almost didn't want to exist after that embarrassment. Mm-hmm. And I think Watson could be going through that too, Blaze. I really do.
He could, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's only 2 people that know what's going on with him, and that's him and God. Yep. So, yeah, it's sad, man. Like, you talking, man, wow, what a fall from grace. Well, not too much. I mean, like you said, he was on his way to a Hall of Fame career. They made it to the playoffs like every year almost, right? Yeah, so.
And he didn't have nobody around.
I know.
He had Hopkins.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
He had Brandon Cooks and
you already see Brandon Cooks. You see how he played every other game.
What was the quarterback's name that turned receiver that went to Ohio State? He had, remember, Fuller? No, not Fuller. Remember, he had him as the receiver.
Will Fuller was good, not Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, Braxton. Yeah, Braxton.
Okay, yeah.
No, Braxton Miller.
It was Braxton Miller. It was Braxton.
Braxton Miller, yeah. Quarterback turned receiver. That was one of his receivers in Houston.
I remember that.
And DeAndre Hopkins, obviously, during his good days. But still, no, point taken.
Doing his good days. I'm glad we agree on that. DeAndre Hopkins' best to him is behind him.
Oh, man, he ain't got no quarterback to throw him the ball, man.
That's true, too. Ryan Tannehill. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of quarterbacks, son, I watched the press conference of Sean Payton after the Bronco game. Now listen, Blaze, right? So here's the deal, right? I hate that he came to the podium and the first thing he said was, well, listen, we can't really turn the ball over. That one turnover that started Washington come back was at the 50-yard line. And then with the score tie, you turn the ball over again. Wasn't no sharpness coming in and out the huddle. Okay, we know Russell Wilson didn't have his best game. But you can't come to the podium and blame everything on Russell Wilson.
I know,
Your team blew an 18-point lead to the Commanders.
What about that defense? Because Sam Howell was carving their ass up in the second half.
Yeah.
So, but it's just Russell Wilson's fault.
Thank you.
We carved that defense. Brian Robinson ran through that defense in the second half, bro. I mean, Howell was out there throwing darts.
How is that not Russell Wilson's fault? He didn't mention nothing about that.
Right. We sacked him 6 times in the second half, bro. Why didn't the offensive line get any blame? You understand? But man, listen, man. Eric Bieniemy, man. Wow, what like the adjustments he made in the second, like during halftime, they look like a totally different team on offense compared to the first half and the second half. But I told a friend of mine, I think what got the Skins going, what sparked them, was that hit by Kareem Jackson on
dirty play
on Logan Thomas. After that, like Broncos just didn't seem to have it anymore.
Yeah.
I think that fueled the Skins. They got it going. give them credit, man, because like I think I text you, I was like, man, I'm going to sports bar to watch another game, man. I can't watch this embarrassment, bro.
It's
I mean,
nothing.
because it was just embarrassing in the first quarter to watch. You know what I'm saying? On the road. You know what I'm saying? But I said, you know what? Maybe this is the type of guy I am. I said I'll go to sports bar and maybe change the fortune of the game. You know, maybe they'll get it going. Hey, look, I can watch Dallas and the Jets. I can watch San Francisco and the Rams. And hey, it seemed to work. But you know what? Give them a lot of credit. Just like my Facebook post said, big win on the road. As usual, Washington makes everything interesting. We can't just have a comfortable win. The Hail Mary at the end. Oh, my gracious, man. Bro, the Hail Mary at the end? Like, what are you doing? Just knock the ball down. Tom Jackson said it 15 years ago. They're on the Hail Mary, knock the ball down. I mean, they were playing pity pat in the air. You know what I'm saying? But they got the win. We'll take it. Big tough matchup this week against Buffalo at home. We'll see what happens.
That's going to be a tough one right there. You know what I'm saying? But good comeback victory. And like you said, you was leaving out the house, right? So there's no worse feeling than early in the season and being like that your team is going to suck, and you're like, man, I got to go through a whole season of disappointment. It's nothing. And then put it with myself. If I have every fantasy team sucks now because every player's hurt. And then that doubles doubles down on it.
Bears fans, I feel so bad for Bears fans. But go ahead. Every year, bro. Every year.
So I can't be overly critical of Justin Fields, right? Son, he threw an interception. He could have gave Shaq Barrett the ball, son. Blaze, I don't even know what I was watching with Justin Fields. Like sometimes when he get the running thing going, I'm like, okay, if he can run the ball like this, he keep his team in the game. Not real good quarterback play, but you know what he's doing, what he can with his feet to impact the game. I respect that. This week he didn't do it with his feet. And if he relies on, they try to give him little screen passes and easy throws. He can't even hit them. He can't pull the trigger on them. I'm like, whoa, this guy, is he going backwards?
He's a one-read quarterback like RG3. Sorry, America. RG3, another black quarterback. Sorry. Can't say anything about the black quarterback. Jesus Christ. If you suck, you suck. I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you don't like it. But, yeah, man. He's bad, bro. Yeah. He's bad. He's going to end up being a backup to somebody, man. Yep. I'm telling you, man. I can see it.
First pick in the draft this year, they're going to draft a quarterback.
I mean, he's also on playing for organizations that's just been snake bitten the last 15, 20 years. Since they went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman, they haven't really,
they never have good offense.
Been anything to talk. I know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, their offenses just seem like it's always the same.
Player ever. Maybe them years that Brandon Marshall was there was like.
That's a good team.
He was a great offensive player for the Bears.
I know. You're right.
I mean,
Brandon
obviously
Marshall.
Walter Payton, but that was 40 years ago. So Walter Payton, who's been the dominant Bears offensive player?
I know. Nobody. I mean that I can think of off the top of my head. I probably have to go back and do a little research. But yeah, man, Justin Fields, man, boy, wow. Yeah,
what's up with the Bengals?
Yo, ma.
I like the
Bengals. Listen, I remember when you told me, I think we did a show about a month and a half ago, and you told me who was who had the lowest odds for
MVP.
MVP was. Remember when you said Joe Burrow? I was like, huh? What? First of all, he's not healthy. He wasn't healthy last week.
You're right.
During week 1. They rushed him back. Why they rushed him back, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? I guess they gave him all that money. They was like, come on, bro. You're going to have to play. And that's another thing about Deshaun Watson, too. He's going to have to live up to that contract. He got $230 million guaranteed, bro. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's
he going to have to perform. But back to Joe Burrow. And I don't know, man. Cincinnati started off like this last year.
But the difference is the quarterback not healthy.
I know.
And then the 2 losses are in the division.
I know. That's tough.
I've been saying this, right? But you can't really, you know how sometimes, Blaze, it take a little while for your argument to develop. And my thing is, I think Burrow is saving Zach Taylor. Like, I think Zach Taylor is incompetent, but I think Burrow is saving him. And I think now that Burrow's a little bit banged up, he can't save the head coach. It's still early. Don't get me wrong, but and that team was extremely talented. But I think the Bengals could be this old. See, here's the thing. Oh, they start 0-2 every year. Well, you shouldn't do that because those are the games you can prepare for. Because you know what I'm saying? Like, every team should they have their best game plan for week one. How come the Bengals don't never have their best game plan in week one?
I know, man. I know. I can't answer, man. I don't know, man. It's rather disappointing to see the Bengals play, like you said, I mean, all kind of talent on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. But their defense hasn't really been playing all that great either.
Yep.
You know, like it did last year. Defense, we thought their defense was coming into their own last year. This year just haven't looked too good.
They still got an uphill battle ahead of them. Our division mates, the New York Giants. I guess the head coach had to raise Kane at halftime to get the team to play. But I think me and you were sharing this in text message, Blaze, when they had one good season and everybody wanted to get paid. And that's when I was like, something might be up.
You said that.
When Jones got his money, I kind of think the rest of the team was like, well, wait a minute now. You know what I'm saying?
You said
He's
that.
not the reason why this team is better. But Daniel Jones is a below-average NFL quarterback. He's got that contract. He's not on my team. I'm not tripping off that contract. But it's not like Barkley is tearing it up either.
Right. Exactly. I mean, well, he's done. Is he done for the what's his status?
He'd be down for about a month.
That's every year, bro. That's every single year since he's been in the league, bro.
To reach those incentives, he has to play. He has to play in 13 games. He may not play in 13 games this year.
I know, man. Every year is something with him, man. You know, I can understand. I can understand why they didn't pay him. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I'm just saying he's always hurt. And see, everybody keeps saying that with all these running, Nick Chubb and J.K. Dobbins getting hurt. Everybody say, see, that's why you got to pay these running backs. But now,
no, that's why you don't pay them.
That's why you don't, and that's what the owners are saying.
Yeah,
that's the owner's whole point. It's sad though. I would like to see these running backs get their money though, bro. I mean, running back is a position on the field,
and it's a tough position to play
it's a tough position to play. No team is throwing the ball 65 times a game. Why? Because you have to run the ball to offset the passing game, and to keep the defense honest. But
those AFC North games be tough. You normally see the worst injuries in those AFC North games. You know what I'm saying? We've seen people get their knees torn up. Those teams kind of go a little bit too hard at each other. The Steelers don't mind mixing it up. The Bengals, when they had Vontaze Burfict, they didn't mind mixing it up. You know what I'm saying? The Ravens got some dude, Suggs and them cats. They don't mind mixing it up. You know what I mean? So when you're in that division, Myles Garrett, he don't mind mixing it up.
Absolutely.
When you're in that division, you really are in for it every time you match up against one of those teams in that AFC North. But college football, Blaze.
Colorado, gracious almighty.
The 2:30 a.m.er.
I fell asleep. I woke up. This is exactly what I saw when I woke up and I saw Deion walking to the middle of the field being interviewed. So I still didn't realize what time it was. I was out.
Yeah.
So after I saw the two coaches meet at the middle of the field, then they interviewed him, then they interviewed Shador. I said, man, let me go ahead and go to bed. I looked at my clock. I said 2:04. What happened? I was still so out of it. I didn't realize they went to double overtime.
Yeah.
Then after I got myself too, I was like, oh shit, yeah, okay, they went double overtime. That was insane. But I mean, what would be a perfect ending than the Colorado Buffaloes playing to 2 a.m. with everything that's going on this year, all the hype and everything? You couldn't ask for a better script, bro. And everybody stayed up to watch it. They definitely didn't cover the spread, which I didn't think they would. I knew Vegas. I told you Vegas will figure it out by week 3 or 4. They'll reel you in for the first 2 weeks. And trust me, I'm sure there are some people that gave up that 23 points. I didn't see it. I didn't care how bad Colorado State was.
Most point spread of the weekend, son.
That's crazy.
Including NFL games.
That's so The majority of the money was on Colorado,
Yes,
minus 23.
yes. These people love Colorado.
Yeah,
So you're
that's
right. The sports
crazy.
book because they beat
Wow.
now mind you, the first
Yeah,
2 weeks we
absolutely.
caught them right
Yeah, that's
now.
why they're still in business. That's why the lights never. That's why Vegas is a 24-hour entity.
Operation
we keep the lights on.
So
Shit.
last week's game, the game on Friday, right, or on Saturday night, was the fifth most viewed college sporting event in ESPN's history.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Now, they have not announced who the rights holder is for next. Let me see. Oh, here it is. It's up. It's posted.
Hmm.
It's Big Noon. It's
What
Big
time they
Noon.
play? They got to play in the evening if they're playing in Oregon. That's got to be a night game.
No, I'm talking about the USC game. We have there's a T there's a location there's a time for the USC game. Big Noon. The USC game is Big Noon, 12 p.m. noon on Fox.
They're playing at 9 a.m. West Coast time.
Yes, this a noon start on Fox.
They so pressed, but
Now
I
let me see
just
if I
I
look
just
at
feel
the
like
rest of
that's
the
so
schedule.
unfair, bro.
ABC has Texas and Kansas at 3:30. So basically ABC so basically what the Pac-12 sold this game, the Pac-12 sold the Oregon game to ABC.
Mm,
And then Fox held on to the USC game and
they play
they put it at Big Noon.
at 9 a.m.
Well, because you know why they would do that, Blaze? Because so what they'll do is they'll go back to Colorado. They might as well just set up shop in Colorado and call that the goddamn, and call that the studio. So basically what they'll do is Big Noon is getting better ratings. Big Noon is closed the gap. Everybody
Right,
wants
right,
to
right,
College
right,
Game Day.
right.
But Big Noon has closed the gap because
Hmm.
they keep broadcasting from Colorado.
Hmm.
So that's probably why they put that game on at noon, so they can close the gap, so they can take away from College Game Day another Saturday. You feel what I'm saying?
So
I would have
so
thought that game would have been, if ABC would have had that game, that'd have been a 3:30 start. I don't think so. Yeah, if Fox should have put that game at 3:30.
I mean, I just feel like that's unfair to both teams. Like USC mentally, that's 9. They're playing at 9 a.m. their time. And then Colorado, which is two hours behind, they're playing at 10 o'clock their time in the morning. I don't know, man. I mean, whatever. That's
Fox,
that's
that
crazy.
Saturday, the Fox 3:30 game that Saturday is Michigan and Nebraska. Yeah,
Nebraska.
they
Wow.
dropped the ball
They
on
still
that.
trying to shove Nebraska down our throat, man.
But Travis Hunter lacerated liver. Unfortunate. He's going to miss the USC game. I would have liked to see if Caleb Williams would have tried a deep shot on Travis Hunter. That was going to be something that would have that we're going to miss. At least we could get it in the Pac-12 championship. But dirty hit, but the player was not put out. Blaze, it was 10 personal fouls in that game.
I know, man. Chippy. Yeah. So evidently, Dion ain't the only one that took it personal. Colorado State. I'm just saying, Colorado State took it personal too, man. A lot of these. Listen, man. Listen. Let me try to say this in a nice way, so somebody won't. Oh man, you always hating on the black coach and the black quarterback. Man, whatever. Eventually, like each week, these teams who Colorado are facing, like they just tired of hearing about it, and rightfully so. I mean, rightfully so. I'm not saying that. Do something about it then, sure. But all I'm saying is they're tired of it. Colorado State probably was definitely tired of hearing about that. Because that's a rivalry game anyway, right? So, hey, man, listen, give them credit, man. Hey, look, they came to play.
They came to play.
They showed up. They showed up.
Dogs on that team. That dude
they do, man. They do.
That wide receiver's a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got some good players. They got some good players.
Those Colorado players, they all have their own YouTubes. So what happened was Travis Hunter showed the view from inside that scrum. Yo, Blaze, that shit was serious inside that scrum.
Yeah, outside.
They
I know
was
that's
talking
crazy.
big shit.
Yeah,
Travis Hunter told
shit.
his one kid, "I'll beat your white ass." So they was going at it, Shador with the,
right, with the wise, yeah. Man, I'm telling you, hey, I'm just saying, man. Listen, man. Listen, man. They doing. Listen, it's a lot of yapping going on. I love it, but I'm just saying now. I'm telling you. when somebody pop your ass from the blind side, I'm just saying, man. Listen,
Yep,
take the
Shador
good with the bad.
Your man Kamara had that sack on Shador that got him put out the game. You know what I'm saying? So, but you're right. But this is interesting, and Whitlock said this, and you try to agree with Whitlock as less as you can, right? Mm-hmm. But this is something that's interesting that he said. So after the game, Deion said that, man, it would have been hard to have to listen if Colorado State would have won that game.
I saw that.
It would have been hard to listen to Norvell in the post game. And Whitlock was like, "Is Deion?" He was right about that, son.
Right.
Listen to Deion in the post game, son.
Right. I know. But one thing about it, I mean, he's not bluffing. That's who he is. That's Deion.
He is. I love it.
That's Deion's. A friend of mine wrote something on his Facebook post the other day. He said, Shador has Deion's flash, and Shador has his wit in that mouth. Yeah. You talk that trash. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. I think Oregon gonna mollywop their ass though. But I also said TCU was too. But
I'm taking the 21 and I'm hitting the money line. Well, I can't. And the spread is 21. It's fitting.
It's 21.
The spread is 21. Colorado's 21-point underdogs.
God.
So now prime to say they're sleeping on us again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Speaking of coaches and point spreads, Sean McVay.
With the field goal in the end.
That was wild as hell, son.
I've been telling you this for 12 years, man. I've been telling you that, bro. Yeah. I think it was more now. This is just me. I think it was more so of Sean McVay sticking it to people who bet on the 49ers more than himself betting on the game.
So you think he knew the point spread? Okay, I agree. I don't know. You know what? In today's society, players, back in the day, just the coaches knew the point spread. Today, everybody knows the point spread.
Everybody, their family, their friends. like, you know what I'm saying? They text me, hey, man, dang. Like maybe one of his friends texts him, wow, man, you guys are 7.5 point underdogs. Come on, man. This is a totally different world we living in, man.
No doubt.
Totally different world. Absolutely. And now, I'm definitely not accusing Sean McVay of betting on the game. But I think he was trying to stick it to the 49ers fans and the 49ers backers who took that -7.5. I think that's all it was.
I agree. Now, this is kind of what I watched the post-game press conference to see, and of course, nobody in the media asked him that
question, of course
right?
not.
Right? So, but apparently, this is what this kind of has come out of this situation. The excuse that they're using is for tiebreaker purposes. So if a tiebreaker could come down to points, they wouldn't have left. They wouldn't have left it.
Good one. Good one. And on that note,
let's wrap it up, my brother.
On that note,
for tiebreaker purposes, it's double law.